One of the major influences shaping the person you want to be is also one of the least understood. It is your association with others, the people you allow into your life. Have you ever thought about how others shape your life? The thought didn't even occur to me until a mentor said, "Never underestimate the power of influence." Of course, he was right. The influence of those around us is so powerful, so subtle, so gradual that often we don't even realize how it can affect us. Think about it. If you're around people who spend all their income, chances are excellent that you will become a spendthrift. If you're around people who go to more sporting events than cultural activities, you're likely to join in with them. Such is the power of peer pressure. But it goes even further. If you're around people who think it's all right to cheat a little, you too might be persuaded to cut a few corners. People can nudge you off course until one day, 10 years down the road, you wake up asking yourself, how did I get here anyway? And that's not a very happy moment. To avoid wasting time with the wrong crowd, you need to ask yourself 3 fundamental questions. 1, with whom do I spend time? 2, what are they doing to me? 3, is this association okay with me? Don't dismiss these questions. Take a look at the time you spend with each of your major activities. Is it positive and constructive, or is it negative and destructive? Not sure. Then think about these things. What have they got you doing? What have they got you listening to? What have they got you reading? Where have they got you going? What have they got you thinking? How have they got you talking? How have they got you feeling? What have they got you saying? Finally, after you have really pondered these, ask yourself this one final question. Are my present associations helping me grow in the direction I have chosen through goal setting? If you are fortunate enough to answer yes to this question, I'm happy for you. But if you are not so sure, then it's time to examine your relationships with some of the key players in your life. It's so easy to dismiss this question of influence. The guy says, I live here, but it doesn't matter. I'm around these people, but they don't bother me. Well, he's wrong. Everything matters. This is a good phrase to remember, EVRATG meta ars. This book is different from many others because it deals with reality, not wishful thinking. In fact, one of the main purposes of this book is to get you to say, I want to stop kidding myself once. I really want to know what it is to become and what I am becoming. I want to know what my strengths and weaknesses are, what has power over me, what's influencing me, what I've allowed to affect my life. So take a look and then another. Everything worthwhile deserves a second look, especially the power of influence. Perhaps you've heard the story about the little sparrow. It was covering one eye with its wings and crying to himself. And all flew by and asked, Little bird, what's wrong? The sparrow pulled away its wings and showed a gash where once it had an eye. Now I understand, hooted the owl, blinking. You're crying because the crow peeked out your eye. No, replied the bird sadly. I'm not crying because the crow peeked out my eye. I'm crying because I let him. Is there someone who is pecking away at your vision? Is there anyone who tries to blind you from seeing your dreams? Hey, it's easy to let influence shape your life, especially negative influences. It's easy to let associations determine our dreams, to let persuasion overwhelm us, to let doubt overtake us, and to let pressure mold us. The question is this what you want? Are you becoming, achieving, and acquiring what you want, or are you letting others steal your dreams? Disassociatiam if after analyzing your present relationships, you determine that you have some weeds in your garden of association. There are a couple of things you can do. First, you can separate yourself from those people who are destructive to your well-being. I admit this is a tough thing to do, especially if it's a family member. But if you have someone who finds a great deal of pleasure in trying to peck away at your dreams, goals, or beliefs, get rid of his or her influence. Remember, it could be the choice that saves the quality of your life. Of course, life is rarely that simple. Sometimes we find ourselves having to spend time with unpleasant people, co-workers, business associates, and others. In those circumstances where you cannot fully disassociate yourself, try limited association. There are also those situations where superficially pleasant associations can have a long-term negative effect on our lives. If you spend 10 nights a week drinking with your buddies, your life may eventually spin dangerously out of balance. The consequences 5, 10, 20 years from now can be devastating. It's easy to remain mediocre. All you need to do is spend major time on minor things with minor people. Sophisticated people weigh their actions. They know what a major is and what a minor is. They don't often get confused by such things. Of course, sophisticated people do have casual friends. The difference is that instead of spending a great deal of time with them, They spend relaxed, relatively unimportant time with them. They just don't concentrate their time on minor friendships and good time charlatans. It's your life. You can spend your time with whomever you want and however you want. But I don't think you invested in this book for me to humor you. You must take a look at your priorities and values, including your associations, and evaluate them. Your time on this earth is too short to spend it less than wisely. Expedition from disassociation. Let's move to a happier topic. Expanded association. Here's the law of expanded association. Spin, mar, r, timi, yt, w, a, t, r, g, h, t, p, pili. Who are those right people? That depends on your goals and objectives. But generally look for people of substance and culture. People who spend time reflecting on the meaning of life and who accomplish their goals through discipline and perseverance. That's what my mentor advised me shortly after we met. He said, if you want to be wealthy, you've got to get around the right people. And then with a wry look, he added, of course, in your present circumstances, you'll have to plot and scheme to get around. And that was true. I did have to. During those early days, when called upon to give a sales presentation, I would frequently park my distinguished-looking cars minus muffler several blocks away. Invariably, someone would ask me, by the way, how did you get here? To which I would respond, oh, someone dropped me off. Of course that someone was me dropping myself off in my noisy bomb. It's really not all that difficult to associate with successful people. Just get involved in your community. I have a friend who started a small business. She then joined her town's chamber of commerce, became active on a few committees, and before she knew it, she found herself playing tennis with some of the city's more influential people. You see, it's not so hard to create new associations. Also, as we discussed in an earlier chapter, make an investment in a high-priced appetizer. Take a successful person out for a meal. There's no telling what you can learn in an hour or two of success-oriented conversation. In expanding your associations, take a look at your life's priorities. It's called associating with a purpose. For example, find some successful people to help you with your success plan. Find some healthy people to encourage you to have an exercise and nutrition plan. Find someone who knows how to live to teach you the secrets of a rewarding lifestyle. And don't be embarrassed about cultivating the friendships of these people. Most successful people love to share their knowledge with others. It's probably why they're successful in the first place. Successful people seek out those they admire. They understand that inspiration and knowledge can be gained from the right type of association. I am no exception to this rule. I have such an association, a person with whom I like to spend as much time as possible. He's an adventurer, a successful entrepreneur, a traveler, and a great philosopher. My friend has many skills, but two are positively uncanny. First, he has the ability to absorb a day's events in minute detail. Not only does he remember each day, I believe he can also remember every day of his adult life. He is able to recall every book he's ever read. He seems to retain every fact he learns. If I had a choice of going to a foreign country myself or having him visit and recount his trip to me, I would almost choose the latter. Why? Because he doesn't miss anything that's important. He absorbs every event like a sponge. His second talent is his expressiveness. When he returns from a trip, he describes in vivid detail the sounds and colors of the country, the customs and concerns of its people, the minor experiences and the major happenings of his journey. He can put all that he saw, touched, and felt into exciting, vibrant words. As he recounts a trip, his listeners can feel the crash of the waterfall, the cool breeze of the northern winds, the colors and smells of the cities and the countryside. What a gift he gives those of us privileged to know him. What value can one put on such a unique association? I don't know, but I can say with confidence that from our association, I've expanded my knowledge, my perception, my skill, my enterprise, and my lifestyle many times over. Where do you go for your intellectual feast? Pity the person who has a favorite restaurant, but not a favorite thinker. That person has taken care to feed his body, but not his mind and soul. Today, thanks to pioneers in the field of recording information, we can also associate across the seas and throughout the centuries. Perhaps you can't meet the person, but you can read his words or listen to his recorded voice. Great leaders and thinkers from history are no longer alive, but their words can still awe, inspire, and instruct.